Oh, I am not prepared, but hey. Sup? How's it going, peeps? Still in the midst of setting up, so give me a few. Just drop my headphones on the floor, because why not? Repping nice Kings today, as you do. That plugged in, so desktop audio should be fine. Also standing up today, because might as well, to be honest. It's nice to change from being stuck sitting all day. And the chair at work is broke, so I kind of haven't felt comfortable on my chair all day, so standing up. Probably the best course of action, to be honest. I'm just popping on a playlist. This should do me just fine. Hopefully that's at a decent level. I'll have a quick look myself for you guys. But yeah, today we've got T1 vs TL. I've got a sore throat, so that does not help me in the slightest for this video / VOD review. But 4 games to break down today. Actually looking forward to it. And obviously I'm not repping the lights on tonight. It's a bit dark. I'm also starting later than normal. Because it's my sister's birthday, so I went out for that. Anyway. There's my stream. Let's get chat up on my phone. Hopefully that's good enough. There. That's a bit better for us. Not bad music, to be fair. To start us off. So, wrapped up, ready, set, let's go. Also, I've noticed I've not actually got set up my put that there. So I haven't actually got my internet set up. Nor does my PC, because I took it out. There we go. So unprepared today. What can I say? Late streams do this because I'm mad rushing to get set up. But hey, it'll do. So, let's get going with this one, shall we? Let's find game 1. I am smart enough to put game 1 in the right spot. So, let's go, shall we? Into draft for the first game. It looks like T1 are on blue side, which is kind of a interesting thing, because normally we see teams opting for red side. In terms of, I don't know who would have had side select for this one. T1, higher ranking coming into this one. But draft so far, Trist, Nautilus, Lucian, Azir, Ori, Aurelion maybe from TL. Get the trifecta of faker bans. Trist is banned here, so they were expecting flex. However, I think TL actually wouldn't ban the Aurelian. Choice of ADs is up and available. It said prior on Talia, so Aurelian or full bot lane for TL is the option they could go for here. But because Naught's banned Kallista's prior drops, Renata would fill in that void. Aurelian would make sense, and then you kind of are looking at like jungle picks to go alongside it. Xin stands out as a pick that would negate effectiveness of APA's Aurelian, so I think that probably will come through here now. You've then got, I mean, to be fair, Varus probably, or Senna. You forget Senna's a pick that T1 can flex between Carrier and Guma. TK then to come in here, I think, over anything else, because you're picking up the Senna, you need something farming. Nautilus is banned, so TK probably should come through on. Okay, I mean, it's a flex. Carrier does flex that pick. So TL keeping their draft, not TL, T1 keeping their draft flexible. TL on the other side of things, I think they should lock in not top laner. I wouldn't have locked Cassante. I probably would have locked in jungle. Take away the Xin. I'd put in prior on Xin here because of how effective the Crescent Guard actually is at negating the usage of the Aurelian ult. But personally speaking, it's more of a powerful ulti than what you may think it is. So, band coming through, Renata. Makes sense. I hope they ban TK on 5. Make that bot lane unplayable. Then you can go for a Blitzcrank with the Callista and just go hook heaven. Because you look at the comp that T1 have. I'm not saying they're super squishy, but you kind of are trying to avoid the Ornn hook. Everyone else is a good target so far. And jungle probably will be quite squishy, with the fact that there's a lot of big, squishy junglers in the meta right now. I would rate that pick more than anything from TL, but hey. They're probably going to go with... not that. They'll probably go Leona. I could see Leona coming through for them in 4-5. I'd prefer support lock-in on 4. Because no matter what, you're going into a Ornn or a random support. I mean, it's going to be a tank. So go for a tank prio pick against Senna. I don't like how TL are drafting this. They should have picked Xin, pick 3. Got counter pick secured in the top lane for impact. Because now you're in a situation where if the Camille comes through, draft is still not 100% locked in for T1. Because Ornn's a flex still between Carrier and Zeus. And so's Camille. So I do think Camille will go to the top side. Just Zeus seems more of the carry orientated player than what I'd expect Carrier to be playing. What will we see owner on? And it's the Poppy. I like it. You basically make Callista a sitting target, a sitting dock more than anything. And I like it overall for T1's draft. It makes it very hard for TL to play this game, actually, if you think about it. Because Cassante has dashing, Callista's entire kit is dashes. Does it? I'm pretty sure it stops the Aurelion Soul flight as well. It kind of also stops the headbutt from Alistar. Yeah, I like T1's draft a lot. Certainly a heavy amount of scaling in that comp for T1. Like, you can't go late game. Even though you have an Aurelion who can go late, you cannot go late game against T1 here. That draft is just too strong compared to what TL have. So, everything's locked in. It's time to get into game. How we need to set expectations. Basically, for TL, don't go late. That's a simple way of wording it. You cannot allow T1 to snowball the game. And I think the big issue is this bot lane. It's very easy for Ornn to kind of farm into the Callista, because I expect Owner to make his presence known down there, level 3. And if I get that right, that's fucking amazing, considering I haven't watched any games. This is live reactions more than anything than a VOD review, but it's a VOD review from my perspective, which is a fresh one. So, as a whole, we get onto the Rift. And, yeah. Immediately seeing a bit of trade and Carrier getting hit. Taking a look, Ward was dropped early by Eon onto the brush in the river. The new brush positioning. And I don't like early wards that are this early. You kind of want to time it a little later, to more towards the last 30 seconds before minions spawn. As hello, Poppy forced the flash. Bit of a bait there onto Owner. And because Owner can't really stay around, gotta go back to base. This gives over this side map's jungle to TL. Obviously, the vision ward was spotted by T1, so they're aware that this is happening. I'm just looking where Owner is, so he's starting on the bottom side of his map. So it makes sense to do that. As mid, Gumayushi's just hovering. He's being an absolute menace, because he can. Ornn's the farmer. He can just sit between lanes and just pick up souls as you go. And because obviously we saw that TL started in Owner's side of the map, this is actually a huge play. Good flash burn there by T1. As the top side of the map, it's a lane swap. So this is why everything's happening the way it is. Why Guma wasn't sitting in lane initially. Why now we've seen a gank level 2 by Zeus towards the mid lane. This tower dive is being set up because it's a 4-man unit of T1 down here. They're counteracting the lane swap pretty goddamn well. Because the Cassante wasn't able to roam up to top side. He's now being locked up and being ran down by a Poppy. He doesn't have flash, so he's just dead early. He almost would have fell if it weren't for the fact that none of T1's actual damage followed. They instead turned immediately to the tower. And the trade of plates is coming through. The big issue right now for TL is they're behind in tempo. As T1 were focusing the objective, and again, it's just the gank city coming out from T1. They're just forcing plays. The fact that Zeus got the flash out from APA early meant that Poppy, who was just constantly been sat in this bottom red side jungle, could go for a play. And as a whole, it's just been T1 forcing early. And TL haven't really been able to respond because they've been sat basically on the tower or in a lane swap lane where there's no opposition. So T1 are just playing this map a lot better, a lot cleaner in a lane swap state that was forced by TL. And that is a big thing to note because TL are the ones who've initiated this setup and haven't really been able to utilize it per se. And that's issue number one. Number two, T1 just are moving at a better pace than what we're seeing, is they're now punishing yet again APA, a good dash through by the Puppy to cancel the flight. And yeah, they're just keeping APA behind early. Don't give him any chance to farm. And this Aurelian Soul can't build up a Sky's Descent as quickly as he would like to. Because bear in mind, once you're level 6, them stacks build up to the empowered ulti, and that just means that more damage can come through to more members. So T1 keeping the Aurelian Soul behind means that it allows them to roam for more objectives. It turns into Drakes, it turns into Heralds and Grubbies because of the fact that the Aurelian Soul's not able to participate effectively. Now, what we're seeing right now is actually a good counterplay if it weren't for the fact that the way that the lane swap has affected T1 is minimal. They've got 2 top lane picks. Ornn can sit in side lane by himself. Camille can sit in her side lane by herself. And Senna can just bounce between the 2 lanes. It's the same setup that's actually nuts due to the fact that T1 have the Senna. And realistically speaking, cannot be punished by the lane swap. And this is how they're counteracting TL's lane swap funness. Because the draft they've got outright would be good in the 2v2. But because of the fact that T1 haven't given, like, the reason is that it'd be good in the 2v2 is because they want to fight. If they're in a matchup against people. In the situation where they're in an isolated lane by themselves, there's no real plays there. And as a whole, they can't really do much. As, once again, steadfast presence, baby. Bye-bye, APA. It's the power of the Poppy. Simple as you like. It counters TL stupidly well. As you just cannot fly. You cannot dash if you're Callista. You cannot headbutt if you're Alistar. Lee Sin cannot dash forward. Cassante can't dash around. You've basically backed yourself into a corner as Call of Forge God in the top lane gets the flash out, and the Callista's now on the back foot once again. T1 just putting on a clinic here in this early game. And you got to give the credit to Owner. He's been all over the map, and T1 just are making it so hard for TL to play lanes. Surprisingly, actually, it's unsurprising that the Senna's behind in gold, but it's surprising how close that gold lead actually is, and how it's actually transitioning right now. But hey, we take a look at the state of the map. Grubs were split 2-1. T1 coming on the lower end of that trade. And they're going to come out even lower with the Dragon started by TL. Now, personally speaking, I like this play by TL. you kind of know that you're behind in a state where you can't necessarily outscale T1. So you kind of have to go for these big buffs, the permanent buffs in the Drakes, in order to make it a little bit more of an even fight. Now, top side, we're starting to look at the Camille into the Cassante matchup, as the lane swaps kind of finished. The 2v2s and the 1v1s begin again. And what we're seeing right now is the wave kind of evening out, Impact getting to farm a little easier, and actually I'm surprised the CSD in top lane is this even. 10 is the difference, so a full wave basically is quite close, considering the fact that there's a big difference in the bot lane. As, to be fair, Senna has picked up 22 of them CS. So, it's kind of close. 22 plus 74. So 96 minions combined with bot lane. So it's about a wave difference in the bot lane, all things considered, if you combine support and bot lane as CSs. So that's kind of nice. T1 right now, there's been a lot of focus on Owner so far in this game and how he's been playing it. He's doing very good for himself, all things considered. Just looking at that CSD as mid lane, he's looking for another play. Considering the fact the CSD is nothing and Owner's been making plays on the map, this is actually a very well worked early game for him on a Poppy of all things. Poppy not known for being the best clearer in the early game. You're reliant on having to sustain with the shield. But as a whole, she's doing a good enough job to get this team an advantage due to the fact that she's been playing more for the lane ganks. Now, right now, T1 are getting an outplay as the Intofu strikes are going to land. The all-out pulls under the tower to Camille, but a hook shot to safety. But Poppy can't knock away the killer as Xin Zhao's going to pick up the one kill for TL. Now it's going to be a continuation to the play as Senna is just being ran down by APA. But T1 retreat back as the last grub goes down. It's a 3-for-3 trade in terms of that objective. As we go back to the bot site, I swear we just saw this fight. It's not, it's Yorn this time who uses the Bellows Breath to avoid the Q3 and Tofo strikes. And yeah, Impact stepping up for the team here. Kind of the big thing that I'm noticing right now is how he's utilizing the Cassante to stop pushes while T1 try and make cross-map plays. And that's the interesting thing, because what we just saw was T1 trying to force Grubs, while top lane they're trying to get push. That top lane push didn't work out because Zeus gets caught. It's a good W through from the Cassante, all out, very nicely angled by Impact, pulls this Camille in the tower straight into the Wind Becomes Lightning. And it's a good overstack by TL to get the kill, but to be honest, T1 still stacking up pressure on the map, already focusing down their next target, which will be this bot lane tier 1, as they brought 3 members down here. Tower dive is a possibility for them. It's Piercing Light just going to keep getting stacks for the Senna. Just taking a look right now at the Senna stacks, because I have to get really close. I think that says 52 or 32. One or two. It's very hard to see from here, because they put the tiniest bit of writing for it. Anywho, still a decent amount of stacks, considering the fact that Guma's only just hit level 6. That's kind of the surprising factor. I'm not streaming in high quality. Yeah. No wonder this stream's lacking in quality. Now I can see a bit more. It says 30. 36. So, T1 back onto the map. And already focusing down to Xin Zhao. Good blast cone there by Owner to pop the Xin Zhao into a Dawning Shadow, and the follow-up from T1 onto the backside goes Impact, but he is yeeted out the fight by Owner. APA just trying to burn down the targets. There's a massive steadfast presence. Does work, but he's isolating himself here, the Poppy. Now T1 getting caught out as a double kill. Goes over to Eon as the Callista gets on the board. On the other side of the map, though, turret will fall in favour of Zeus, who was left isolated and alone in that top lane. He did have TP if T1 did start to win the fight, but he wasn't needed because T1 managed to retreat. So, as a whole, the Drake stack game that TL is starting, looking good as this play initially, pretty chill. Poppy does work hitting the blast cone, but the Xin Zhao gets knocked into an Ornn. That's it. No one else on T1 there has damage. Senna's not at the stage where she is critting massively, and the rest of T1 just aren't in a position to land big damaging abilities. Faker joins up a bit later than everyone else, but you just see right there, he lands probably about 1 Q, and then Weaver's Walls back to safety. So, as a whole, T1 loses the fight, but they didn't really fight. They just showed up and then lost, all things considered. Anyway, back to live. Drake started by TL. They secured that. Soul point next for them if they want it. Playing for a Hex Soul, which is quite nice, as that extra chain damage coming out from Callista autos will be pretty goddamn good. Same with the Xin Zhao. Xante also. The only one that really doesn't benefit too much from the passive of the Hex Soul is APA on this Aurelion, who kind of is just forced to press Q all the time to get damage down, which pretty sure that does not trigger Hex Soul. I'd have to look it up. But yeah, it's a very nice Drake Soul for either team, to be honest. T1 benefit, I would say, about the same as what TL would with the Soul. As Sin goes in. Weaver's Wall. Call of Forge God going to be used. The ulti knock-up comes through from the Ornn. But the Genesis fight's coming through as the TPs are coming in. A massive knockaway comes from this Poppy. But Faker is down as Impact secures the kill. Bellow's Breath negates the Intofo strikes. And T1 are losing out on this play. Senna is starting to fire back. But T1 just can't stay around. It's early game damage, baby. And they don't have enough to deal with what TL's health bars are showing. Now we're at an interesting state. I'm just looking at the map. Top lane is pushing in favour of T1. Bot side is weird because now Carrier's caught out. This is a good workaround by TL to catch out Carrier. Dawning Shadow comes in way too late. Faker TP's in though. And he gets the tower shots down onto Xin Zhao. T forced to run away. Zono's started to show up, but T1 can't get any kills out of that. And the game is slowly coming out of the hands of T1. As T is starting to get involved on the map. He's starting to affect matchups with the ulti. And personally speaking, he needs to really protect these carries a little more. He's starting to, which is good. But this play initially, it looked kind of scary. Diving 1v3, getting caught out, but the rest of Team Liquid show up in time. And honestly, immediately targeting out the low health bar of Faker meant that they could easily pick up the kills. And to be honest, it's a well-worked fight in the end by Team Liquid to get the kills there. So, as we continue forward in this game, a slight gold lead to the LCK representatives, but it's a very slight one. And to be honest, with how the early game went, with how effective on the map Owner was, you kind of felt the game was over and done with then. But right now, it's certainly feeling a little bit better for TL. Certainly growing more in confidence in this game. But right now, you gotta think about, how does this transition into the late game? How do we see these teams moving forward? Well, with Soul Point on the table right now, expect TL to start to prioritize it. Obviously, they're doing so right now. Owner's not stepping up, so T1 are giving this one, it seems. Baron spawning, which we can see in the picture-in-picture, but I'm kind of surprised TL, or T1 more importantly, didn't really fight there, didn't contest, gave over Soul Point for free. As a whole, this series, I mean, you think this is clearly saying T1 don't value Drakes, or would much rather wait another Drake to get a better fight for themselves. Just looking at items, the power spikes that possibly come through, Crypto Bloom for Faker is not what he's going for. He's gone Void Staff. That's surprising. I thought you may go Crypto Bloom, but T1 have caught out the Xin Zhao. The second charge of the Force God won't come through, and it's actually Kalista going to be run down. Dawn Shadow goes wide, but here comes Zeus. He shuts down the Kalista as T1 win out on this fight big. They get 2 big kills for themselves. Jungler is down. That's going to be Baron. And the push, the game, they've just dropped Herald and got mid lane tier 1. Wow. Things can just swing back on a dime. We thought we were going to see T1 wait for the next Drake, but they've just managed to get a massive play. 2 members dive onto APA, who's forced to Dragonfly away, but he's kind of in a situation where Owner could get on him. Unlucky for him, luckily for him, he doesn't get caught out, I should say, as Owner turns his attention towards Impact. That second fight's a 1-for-1, but in the long run, it's a 3-for-1 trade in favor of T1, plus Baron, plus the mid lane tier 1. And it all starts with T1 catching a retreating Umpty in their jungle. Xin gets caught, he gets killed, and the go signal for T1 goes towards the Baron. It's a great hook shot by Zeus to secure the kill onto Yeon, and no ADC, no jungler means there's no Smite Ren to steal comp for T1. And as a whole, they just get the big Baron. Taking a look at how things are right now, just kind of looking to see what level this Ornn is. Level 12, level 13 is when we start to see the big ornaments coming through. Ornaments for T1. There's the massive spike. It's kind of how T1 have been. It's one fight and it's done. It reminds me a lot of how they played at MSI when I watched them versus BLG. One fight and the game was done. So, while it's not one and done just yet, it certainly has the impact of one fight has swung a massive eco lead over to T1, as they've utilized this Baron to secure a 2.2k gold advantage. They've got push in 3 lanes, and they've kind of split TL across the map. And with that, it allows them to secure bot lane tier 2, and force TL into making a play towards the top side of the map. And because of the fact that Carrier has TP, but you ain't gonna need it, how does he get away there? Can we just rewind? So I would want to see, how does he get out of this? Because it's... Oh, it's a very quick Fate's Call. Anyway, Crescent Guard just keeps him alive here. He does well to negate a lot of the CC chain. Cult Forge Guard gets negated. A lot of the burn gets negated. And T1, in the end, still get the tower. Baron falls off of them. No back going to be denied there by APA, but realistically speaking, the state of the game is... It's so awkward in the fact that TL can kind of fight for this Drake, get Soul, and then win. However, with how T1 is setting up, it certainly won't be that opportunity given over. No. Right now, APA is being hunted down by Zeus, who can't drop a ward and go for a play as Owner secures the objective. Topside, Camille just tried to ring a Rosie and get the kill. Is gonna get it in a 1-for-1 trade in the end. Kill goes over to Yeon, but look how many members were invested into the topside by TL. No one's back here to defend this inhibitor tower. So they've overcommitted for a pick onto Zeus, who gets a trade outright by himself onto APA. So the big thing about getting APA as well is he's quite a lot of TL's wave clear. The fact that he is down means that TL are forced back to stay in base. Impact can't stay around and push for the bot lane because T1 have backed away from their push. So essentially, this pick, while it looks insane that Zeus was just ring a Rosie around the top thing, he does work here to get APA isolated using the Hextech ultimatum, and there were shields onto APA, but they weren't enough to keep him alive, as the damage is quite high from this Camille at this stage of the game. And we can't really look at the items, but I already know she's got a Trinity Force, which is tons of damage, if you know what I mean. But I'm pretty sure she'll have a few other big items in her back pocket. Yeah, Raveners and Stark's Gate, which has just come back off cooldown. And she's presumably onto a third item, which at this stage of the game, probably thinking a bit more resistance, maybe more burst. Death Stance could be a good item. I mean, you are going into a heavy AD comp in the side lanes because you're not really wanting to deal with APA. But as a whole, I think Zeus building quite well, and T1 playing quite well. Baron going to be started up. TL can't step forward. Yeon's getting over there, but the Weaver's Wall, perfectly timed. No wind becomes lightning can land. Umti is getting in range, but Faker's just playing the bodybot game. He doesn't get in range to smite it as Owner secures the objective, and oh, it's a fail flash pull from Core JJ. He's forced to be pulled out by the Fate's Call, and now T1 can turn to fight. Senna starting to fire out onto APA, but a continuation of the play as Xin Zhao goes in. This is like a sacrificial lamb play from Umti, as TL go on the retreat, what is the Calista doing? It kind of is bad, but anyway. Down goes Core JJ, and APA's caught out once again. How is he in this position? Like, TL should have backed away. This is just insanity on the Rift, as they're just being constantly caught out. Yeon's gonna jump onto Gumayushi, but he's isolating himself. The steadfast presence means he can't escape. He burns Cleanse, he burns Flash, and that will be the game over and done with. T1 win the first of this best of 5. And honestly, apart from a little shakiness in the mid game, it was clean. T1 didn't really give the opportunity to TL to make any sort of plays or comebacks. So as a whole, got to give a lot of credit to how T1 played out that game. And kind of the star of that matchup was Owner on that Poppy. Let's be honest. So I need to sit down because my legs are starting to hurt. Whee! Oh. Oh boy, I love it when people shout. So I keep drawing on my screen, which isn't moving everything. Ugh. This should be a lot better for you guys. It's better for me because I can actually rest my legs now. There we go. Oh my days. Why are people shouting for the sake of shouting? Shouting? Why am I talking when I can't even talk? That's a better question. Why do people shout for that? No reason. I just knocked a load of Pokemon cards on the floor. Anyway. Game 2. Honestly, this could be a pretty dominant series out from T1. But who knows? Maybe TL can fight back. I'm interested to see if they switch sides going into game 2. And they do. TL are on blue this time. So will the bans change? T1 quite clearly banning out ADCs. Same bans from game 1 from them. Faker's pool's been hit quite a bit. This has got to be the same ban from game 1. It looks pretty similar. But as a whole, second rotation of picks, it's got to be like something like Talia obviously coming through. Then I start to think, well, that gives over to T1. It does give Calista. It gives them Varus, Senna, banned out by T1 this time, actually. So there's the first big change. TL getting the Talia for themselves as well. What did T1 get to play alongside that Calista? Naught is up this time. Is there Prio or Naught? Never mind. Fuck Naught. Let's go Varus. This is the T1 strength of having Calista support. I don't think anyone else in the league or the world are doing Calista support. I think G2 played it once. But as a whole, it's a T1 comp going for this. And then you go for Faker on something like Ahri. I would honestly like to see Poppy coming through for TL here. Because you already know Callista's the main issue of the comp. And you just saw how Owner piloted the pick to success. Either you pick it for yourselves or you ban it. Because it should be banned. And it might be T1 who are the ones banning it. Because as a whole, you get Faker onto like an Ahri or a Corki in this situation wouldn't be terrible either. I think Corki needs to be considered. But it's Faker, he prefers the Ahri more than anything. That's what I've come to realise about watching Faker's play. If he can't get his hands onto these two big picks or the Talia, he goes towards Ahri as his fallback pick. Next, we enter ban phase 2, so already spoke about Poppy and Prio on it. I'd expect either T1 to pick it or ban it. And as a whole, it would work out well for them. TL, what have they got to contend with? Top laners, I mean Rumble. You're not going to get a mobile ADC for yourself. So ban the Rumble. Ban the Hotpot. TF, again, similar sort of story, is the fact that you can just get easily onto your carry and stun them to set up for the Callista's Fate's Call launching in a target. As a whole, and then the Ahri obviously getting in. So I expect Rumble to be removed. Poppy does get removed by T1, which is honestly very smart, considering you've got dashes on Ahri and Callista. Vi gets removed this time. So, Xin. This is actually, if they go Jarvan, it's leaning towards the Rumble angle. And I like that a lot for T1. However, I would expect maybe a bit more of a bruisery top laner. So, as much as it pains me to say it, give us Zeus's Aatrox. He's fiended it all through the LCK. I've watched him play. It's certainly one of his go-to picks on the Rift. But if they don't, it's probably going to be the Rumble. It has to be a Rumble. Or something that can utilize this Jarvan effectively. Vayne's up. I'm realizing Vayne could be a possibility for Zeus, but then you're going triple ADC. I don't think that would be a thing that... That's Samira. Huh. Vayne. Fair play, T1. Let's just lock in 3 ADCs. This is a really weird comp. Like, everyone's damage on T1. There's no frontline that's traditional frontline. Jarvan's more backline dive than frontline in terms of how he's played nowadays. Because he used to be Gore Drinker, sustain frontline, and then that just became completely useless and not a thing anymore. But as a whole, I would say the draft that T1 are cooking here is just nuts. I'm gonna be honest. It's certainly something I did not expect to be seeing on the international stage, as you just lack damage. I guess you would not damage. survivability. That's the word we'll go with. Sorry, I'm just moving my camera to a better position and doing the unthinkable. Bang. That makes this so much worse. Give me 2 seconds. Why is the default that bright? It's so weird. There we go. Bit better now with some lighting. So, on to the riff for game number 3. And 2, sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself already. And the start, well, let's take a look at the start. How is it set up? To be honest, because right now what I'm seeing is runes are looking very standard for TL. Same on T1 side, who are again going for an invade. Like, game 1, it was due to the fact that Owner got chunked low. He was forced to make a play. Carrier's also able to stay around here. As, once more... Okay, that was greedy. But Zeus is down here. It's unfortunate Carrier gets the kill, considering he's the support. But, to be honest, first blood over to TL's worthwhile. You slow down, or you get a better scaling position. Goomer's just free farming. Tops aren't really a factor in this game until later on. And I'm intrigued to see where Carrier's black thing has gone. Is it gone into the Varus? Or is it going into this Vayne? Because the big issue for TL in this lane swap meta is its triple ADC on T1 side. So the attack speed of chipping away at this tower is certainly more favourable to them. The issue is T1 haven't got any defense topside, because Vayne's very squishy. And into a Varus, you don't really want to do that. Sorry, Samira, you don't really want to do that. You don't want to give... It's honestly surprising that TL are the ones lane swapping, because they have the more aggressive level 2 compared to this Callista Varus. That if they can isolate or hook up the Varus, they would probably have killed him. Anyway, just gonna let a massive sorcerer minion wave die to the tower. I'm just looking, no one on T1 are going up there. So it's a lot of CS being burnt. However, a tower dive is being set up. 3 members of TL down here, which is a good response. They're not allowing for T1 to get anything down there. So that's really well worked by Team Liquid. Sure, the gold lead slightly favors T1. But with how the lane swap has worked out, TL played this well considering what T1 were threatening. Coming back to top side, first time we're seeing this, Faker TP'd up here. Same with Impact, and the lane swaps are continuing as mid lane sits Zeus into the 1v1 with the Talia. Top side sees the Ahri in the 1v1 with the Cassante, and this isn't really something you see too often, is the mid and the top lane swapping, but presumably it's just a timing thing more than anything, as Varus, not Vayne, Vayne into Cassante. How does that play out? mean, I would say it's favorable to the Vayne. However, if the Cassante gets close, it's not. Like, he can run her down quite easily. But, I don't know. I think Faker's just content to farm. And not really look for kills right now. Flag and Drag comes through. Faker's here. Not going to throw out the charm just yet as Weaver's Wall's going to be used. A massive seismic shove gets flashed away from. And T1 burned 2 summoners. Good wall there by APA to get them out of Team 1. And that is a good start for Team Liquid. Considering they got First Blood, it got traded back quite quickly. But First Blood, obviously, a massive benefit to them. And with APA actually playing with a bit more confidence in Game 2, certainly winning out in his matchup, it does lead to more plays for Team Liquid as they start up the Grubs, trade on the other side, Drake for Team T1. And there's a secure. Any follow-up? Maybe. 4 members of Team Liquid down here hunting. A very sneaky back there by Owner, but I'm pretty sure he could flag and drag over that wall to safety. He knows how to buffer that spell, I hope. But yeah. All out. Bane Ghost, good use of the Condemn. Keep the Cassante at range. Using Fleet to heal up. Wave is stacking up. So maybe a potential tower dive being set up by T1. Just trying to look where Owner is on the map. He appears to be in the bottom side, setting up a play onto the Lee Sin. So UMT looking to force back as once again 4 members of either team down towards this bottom side of the map. Team Liquid just proxying the wave, allowing theirs to die to the tier 1. And this is very well worked. They get a pick onto Carrier. They're looking for more as Samira unleashes hell with that big tappity tap tap tap. I want to call it Hellraiser's trigger, but I don't remember the name of her ulti. And the big issue though with Samira is that ult usage is very hard to get, especially in pro play when you're going into a very mobile comp. So yeah, we watched this play again, and to be honest, it's a great seismic shove to catch out Carrier. He gets pulled through all of the unraveled earth, and it's very close to being another kill onto Gumayushi, but no one wanted to flash forward to get it. Inferno trigger. Anyway, Weaver's Wall, a potential option for APA to force a play. Not going to go for it. Instead, retreats back to lane. And this is the big thing about what's it called? Clear. The mobility and opportunities to set up plays for the team is pretty high. Now, T1 right now are sitting behind TL, who I'm actually surprised only got 2 Void Grubs. There's still 1 left. There's no Prowl net. This game's the one that T1 focused Drakes. Infernal into Mountain. Soul may suffer, as Umpty going to be run down here. Kicks Jarvan back through. The Weaver's Wall's going to be used, but this Cataclysm kind of buffers through a lot of the spells. Owner force a flash away, and T1 on the retreat. Realize they've utilized quite a bit of their spells. Not going to overinvest, especially considering Drake's up in a minute. Don't want to utilize too many big summoners before that spawns. So, content with just using a couple of ults and the flash out of Owner. There's bot side, no play going to come through. And top side, maybe a play. This Vayne is starting to get aggressive. With the Cull, obviously trying to farm up now. And kind of surprising you go Cull here, Zeus, considering how slow your start to the game was. In terms of CSing. Slow. Fighting-wise, he was in one. But, yeah, it's weird seeing a Cull slightly delayed compared to how you would normally see it picked up first back initially. But yeah, it's still going to continue to stack it up. And, you know, when he hits 150 CS, he'll be happy that the investment has paid off for himself by then. But with the fact that he's going cool, it does lead me to believe he's going to try and play a more side lane orientated game, as finally the Grubby is going to be started. The last Grub's going to be picked up by T1. The trade will be the second Drake at the game. And you know, 2 minutes until... I assume that's Herald. Because it doesn't look like the Void Grub's icon to me. Sad that we're not getting a second round of them. Chemsol is what these two teams are playing for. But it may not come to fruition, as T1 looking for the pick as the Varasalt lands and the Cataclysm executes off Umpty in T1's jungle. Nexus and Nautilus being chased down as the Charm lands. A good buffer with the Death Charge, but let's be honest, if you can't flash over that wall, Faker's going to chase you down. 2 kills over to T1 on the back of Team Liquid taking that Drake is pretty good. It's going to probably result in a lot of chip damage to maybe this bottom lane tier 1. Samira is down here to kind of negate it, so the wave will probably stack up. Top side, this is one of them games that somehow Zeus is going to have the most damage. This, great Varasalt, the wards spotting out him as he went for them plays just resulted in his death. A very nice delay with the charm. Core JJ getting unfortunate with the flash. Personally speaking, T1 played that well, but it's unfortunate by Team Liquid that the plays worked out that way. So, how do we continue forward? Well, I need to quickly look at myself in a cold hard mirror and see that, Jesus, my face is not even lit up. Probably because I removed all brightness from this. There we go. Now you can see me. So, back to the game. I'm going to be honest. It's looking pretty chill. Plating's just fallen off. Gold's pretty much even. Kills fairly even. Objectives fairly even. The only caveat of that play is, geez, Zeus is getting a lot of chip damage down onto this Cassante. Herald's probably going to be secured now by Umpty. which it looks like he's doing. T1 going to try and make the play on the other side of the map, going for bot lane tier 1. A little delayed, but still trying to get an objective. Faker and Ona are going to be the benefactors of this one, actually. I like it, considering you're in a team full of ADCs. You are the only AP carry, so getting a lot of gold, becoming very kill threatening, means that T1 probably going to play on the front foot for a lot of this game, due to Faker's map prowess. So, the tower trade comes through. T1 and TL both getting towers on the other side, rift from one another. Herald's dropped quite early. To be honest, this is a very early Herald. Weaver's wall is in a good position, but it's a bit late. Early. Gumayusi got trapped, but wasn't punished, wasn't harassed, didn't have to burn sums. And while sure the tower's secured, you'd want maybe a little more if you're TL there. The threat of the wall was not enough to get sums out, and I think that's a big problem. Is T1 can do all this setup but not get anything massive out of it. That Herald was dropped early. They used the Weaver's Wall early. And T1, sure, lose their tower, but they're still alive, still able to clear out waves, still able to contest this Drake in less than 6 seconds. And, well, they're not initially challenging for it. They're in fact looking for a play as Core JJ's hook a little bit too late. That was interesting. Anyway, T1 haven't started the Drake yet, nor has TL. Spirit Rush used there by Faker didn't really get anything other than the Ghost out from Impact. Which, Ghost, it's not that big, to be honest. Combat gold wise, slightly better for T1 by 200. Good flash by to avoid the charm, and this is the dive coming out from TL. Faker locked up under tower, not able to run away. Core JJ picks it up, didn't even ignite it, so that's honestly a misplay more than anything. Especially considering the fact that Yeon has got Collector. How does Core JJ get it if that doesn't make sense? Either the timing of Yeon's autos were off, or he didn't auto. Anyway, TL get the kill. So yeah, we watch this again. Charm comes from Faker. It's flashed all out. Oh, he's Wing. So yeah, poorly timed ability from Yeon, to say the least. That he doesn't get the auto down to get the Collector proc. That, my friend, is an outplay by TL on themselves, to be honest. So, I'm putting my feet up if you couldn't tell, because I need to get comfy to talk about this series. Is personally speaking, right now, TL are hurting themselves. So, and while all that's happening, where we haven't really been focusing is actually the bot lane diff right now being this wide. I didn't realize the CSD difference was there, as T1 actually forcing a play onto APA. Cataclysm perfectly timed to avoid the seismic shove, and Faker TPs in to pick up the kill. That's how you give over a kill to a carry. T1 making the play. Baron's up. And triple ADCs will melt through it. I think TL have to respond quick. Obviously, Umti's up in this top side, so he could obviously look to steal it, but T1 not going to force it. Just going to get the tier 1 that they came for. Ace is at a stage where he's quite powerful, by the way. But he may have overstayed his welcome as he gets the condemn away. And that forces back the possible dive onto him. Back to mid lane goes the Samira. And, you know, gonna be brutally honest here. With how this game's going, it feels slow, but it shouldn't. As, personally speaking, T1 playing it by the books. Obviously, they need 2-3 items in order to have a contest. The Vayne only has 1. The Storm Razor isn't enough to really do much here against what Team Liquid have. Whereas her counterpart in Gumayusi has got a couple items for himself, Opportunity and Edge of Night. The Lethality Burst is there to kind of deal with the potential plays that he can be making or be made onto him. Faker's forced Spirit Rush, TPing behind. APA's on the hunt, but Faker can just dash through the Baron Pit. He's going to be able to do so as Lee Sin's caught out. Forced to flash to safety. T1, it's weird for them. They're getting given free damage onto the enemy jungler, getting his sums out as well. And you know, that's huge. Means the smite steal is less likely to happen because it's hard to get in the pit. But to be honest, T1 are getting anxious, I think. They're trying to force plays. And while, sure, you need to make some plays if T1 to continue to scale, continue to be a threat in this game. Team Liquid aren't necessarily the strongest right now. Just looking at how the team's built. Jungle's on 2 items, finally. In fact, all their team bar support are on 2 items. As the possible fight's beginning. Flag and drag just to get to safety as the Interference Strike won't land. The second one does. Slow gets put down, but it's only impact chasing. Core JJ is not in range to land a hook. And T1 escape, and they look to have got a pick onto Empty. The kick comes through, but the Cataclysm locks him in place. He's got no way to escape as the Inferno Tracker on the back line gets the 2 carries a T1. It's gonna be another kill, possibly over, as it's just Zeus trying to fire, trying to get the kills. The Flying Dragon onto the backside, coming in from Mona, but he's killed himself. It's a triple kill to Yeon, and Team Liquid fighting back into this series. That looked very scrappy. It looked weird because I focused in on the river. I didn't see how Yeon got onto Faker, and I'm pretty sure it was Guma,
untouched. Not Guma, Carrier, untouched. So initially it's a pick onto the Lee Sin. And then if T1 get that, they can go to the Baron. Good kick to keep driving away, but Sunder Sky doing work. Samira just dashes in, it seemed, getting the autos down to kill off Faker. And on the backline, just shreds through Guma's health bar. Zeus tries to show up and do work, but because he knows Ona's behind and waiting for his cooldown to respawn, but he doesn't land the spells that it needed to get the kills. And as such, T1 get punished. And they look to get punished even more. The Cataclysm going to be used to get this Nautilus a good use of this shield from Samira to negate the Varasol. Fate Skull going to be used to avoid a seismic shove. And T1 utilizing a few sums here, a few ultis to just get people out, people in as well. Cataclysm on an extremely short cooldown right now. And, you know, can't blame him for using it. He gets the flash out from Core JJ. That not going to be as easily able to get into the backside or engage if T1 play range right. So they got that going for themselves. In the midst of all the chaos of the fight, Team Liquid picked up Soul Point. So Chem Soul in 4 minutes and 10 seconds. Faker secured the tower, which is nice. Some gold into the back pockets of Team Telecom 1. And they're going to continue to stack up gold. I'm just looking where the waves are right now. APA pushing the bot side. So, playing on two fronts really are Team Liquid. Mid and bot. Whereas Team T1 just sitting top. Zaya's just farming up. He's got himself his Trinity Force. So he's got a bit more damage now. A little bit more potent. I'm also realizing Faker's gone Lichbane. Can we just point this build out from Faker? Lichbane and Malignance. So is he going for a more auto attack build? It's certainly a weird one for me. Because like, I'd expect the more burst heavy ability items, so Lunt, then you go probably for your tier item. So you have that safety as you dash through the backside. But no. Why not? Go for the Lichbane. It's certainly weird to me, seeing that. Anyway, jungle. I mean, they're both doing the exact same thing, so their builds are fine. Top, armor, 4, Cassante. I mean, it's triple ADC. I like the Frozen Heart here, considering the attack speed builds are being built up sooner rather than later. The goalie is shrinking again. It's kind of surprising how the gold has shifted through this one, to be honest. It's up and down, but T1 give over so much gold to Team Liquid and then just somehow get so much more back into them while not really doing much. Because the gold lead hasn't shifted too much at all through this game. It's been about 500 gold between the two teams through most of this. So as it stands, that's minimal components, if that, on 1 or 2 people. And you look at the actual scorecard at the bottom, top half of the map are in favor of T1. Bottom half is where Team Liquid have their advantages, and more specifically the 4-0-1 Samira certainly playing dividends for that. And the fact that her build so far, the 3 items she's got, i.e. plus Collector, crits and damage for days, the lethality just very potent with Collector. The rest of the items, you've obviously got the sustain one and the Immortal Shield Bow, as well as probably gonna build up another BF sword item. Don't know what you could go with that, because there's a myriad of things. Anyway, mid. Faker utilizing the Spirit Rush. Weaver's Wall from APA to get up to the play. Not gonna burn his TP just yet. T1 backing out. No more ulti on Faker. So no real play possibly for them right now. Somehow APA gets caught. The Cataclysm locks up the Samira under tower. The Inferno triggers not in time, and the shutdown comes through. picks up the trade onto Owner, but let's be honest, it's T1 getting aggressive as the Fate's Call pulls Gumayushi to safety. T1 win the fight with Zeus and Carrier being the stars of that one. By the way, Fake is still hunting. He's looking for this Lee Sin. The Spirit Rush forward, and he's getting a lot of damage down. He's got another dash if he needs it. But even this time, he's just getting to safety. Realizes this Lee Sin can just sustain and kill him. He's not going to overstay his welcome. We need a replay. Because that one was explosive. It just happened out of nowhere. I want to see why APA was that far forward. Because no way he should have been caught out. Varasalt goes wide as flashes to safety. Faker's on the chase and the Spirit Rushes back off cooldown. The charm lands, the kill comes through. Guma picks the jungler up and it's triple ADC. Baron take time. It's T1. They're going to get the big purple worm buff. Weaver's Wall brings APA closer. T1 are going to be caught out. How is he still alive? The Ignite not going to kill off Zeus. They just stopped hitting the vein. T1 pull off Baron. TL is starting it up still. Ono goes into the back of the pit. He's using the Cataclysm. GA revives him, but he's still going to fall as APA secures the objective. Fate's Call's going to pull Gumayushi to safety as Carrier isolated, being ran down. The rocks from the Talia landing, and down he will fall. The Unraveled Earth secures the kill, and T1 bite off more they can chew. There's a lot to break down. I'm gonna be honest. It's a hefty one. Because as a whole, that play, I don't know how T1 messed that one up. Anyway, Varasalt goes wayward as somehow just dives under T1's base. Now we're just getting silly for the sake of getting silly. I have no clue what's going on. Somehow a 3k Baron for TL. Okay, where are we going? The Baron. Okay. Into the back of the pit. Samira dashes through. The Baron knock up. Cataclysm. Yeah. While the J's through, they just burst the Baron. Samira's still alive and kicking. Dashing through onto Carrier. Autos land. And then APA gets the chase down there. Mid lane. Weaver's Wall come through. Trapping Faker as T1 somehow on the play that TL have. Get him the mid lane tier 2. Clearly punishing the reset timers, I presume, from Team Liquid. Obviously recalls timed pretty poorly there if T1 are able to make a play for an objective on the main lane of the game. Kind of surprising, all things considered. So, away we go. A minute 20 to the big fight, I would have to say. Soul on the table for Team Liquid. T1 outright need to contest it. It certainly looks like they are going with these wards being pushed down into the river there. But with how things are going, Faker, he's chipping away at impact. Charm lands, but good W out. Cassante doing Cassante things, staying alive. River wards not spotted. Is the Varus gonna land down? The Samira's caught out. Shields up on her. But yeah, that's quite a bit of utility burnt out from Team Liquid. T1 get to step forward. Get to contest for this pit. It should be Drake over to as TL retreat. Faker is body blocking. His impact tries to get us. APA's just killed the jungler. What are T1 doing? They're being caught out. As isolated members, Gumayushi forced the flash away. And now Team Liquid get control around the pit. Samira is strong. And she certainly does a lot of damage as the Drake is started up. The Soul is started up. It's dropping below half the health bar. And the Drake is secured by Team Liquid. Soul on the backs of the LCS squad. And Faker kind of playing on edge. Trying to get this mid lane push in his favor. Charm lands onto this Cassante. He's been run down. The Varus snipe lands, but it's not enough to get the kill. On the backside, T1 being corralled into the bottom half of the map. Into this jungle. They have got a wave. They could look to push in for the inhibitor tower, but not going to. Choosing wisely to try and get to safety. Trying to back away. It's Team Liquid. Honestly, doing really well. As this here is looking like Team Liquid are just backing away, running away as the Drake spawns. But Ona goes over the wall. A massive seismic shove lands as impact goes forward. The Cataclysm is going to be used onto UMT. And now T1 being chased down. Ona taken low. The Starax propped. And T1 yet again on the run. We were saying at the start of this game, T1 don't really have a front to back team fighting comp. It's a dive onto the backside, do damage comp that has no front line. And TL know it. They know they can focus a target and burst them out if they're isolated. And quite clearly, they catch out Ona in the river for the Drake, for the Soul. And that results in a state of game that's really hard for T1 to play in. The resistances this objective buys. The opportunities it can get as Faker. He gets the pick here. That's going to be a dead core JJ. A continuation can come through as the Spirit Rush forward lands another charm. Faker's charms are unmissable. I'm going to say it. He keeps landing them as no one on TL can avoid it. Now with no engage, TL playing on the back foot again. Baron started by T1. Keep your eyes on this jungler. On the flank, and he is being marked by Ona. He uses Blast Cone to get into the pit as the Baron is getting quite low. Waiting for a Q from this Lee Sin, but it's not in time. Baron secured by T1 as this Zeus getting aggressive. The Ghost being very powerful, and Samira goes in, gets the kill onto Faker. No AP damage now for T1, but the health bars of Team Liquid incredibly low. Samira needs to pop off, needs to get the kills. The GA is no longer on T1's side, and they're actually going to fall. The Jarvan is down into the GA, but Zeus already has a kill onto APA. Inferno trigger comes through from the Samira, executes off the jungler. Baron's on T1, but they're being taken away slowly but surely. Team Liquid are winning this fight, winning this game. The health bars are in their favor right now. But the recalls and the purple buff around T1 means that this state of game is only going to be prolonged a little more. So how does it start? Simply put, this is the way that T1 are positioning. Initially, looked like they were going to try and back away to safety, but they see the Lee Sin, they get him into GA, and it's like, do we continue to protect Zeus up here and go for the picks, or do we secure the kill? So, on one side of it, they secure the kill, but Faker goes to protect Zeus and pays for it with his own life. And it's this awkward state of game where champions are losing their GAs, and realistically speaking, the opposition are eventually getting paid for the kills. That teamfight damage from Gumayusi starting to rack up as we proceed forward in a very, very strong pace. I'm going to say it. It's looking pretty good for T1. But yeah, that's only because their carries are hitting the big items, as Guma's hurting quite a lot. The poke he can land onto APA right there should showcase that he's very powerful. But on the other side of things, so is Yeon, as APA's below 50% being ticked away by this Varus snipe. And we're kind of looking for 45 seconds from now at the Elder. T1 want that buff because TL are so goddamn strong right now. Already Umti's on the flank, but he's being hunted, and Faker could have caught him out, and that forces the play. Fate's Call's going to be used by the Callista to keep her ADC alive. That's a massive snipe. The Lee Sin's health bar gone. He has no longer got a GA. He's going to have to try and find something to take, but he hasn't got long. 10 seconds until Elder spawns. T1 probably going to start that on its basically appearance. The engage comes through. Core JJ hooks onto Owner, but he flashes away to safety. Dev charge used, and now what can TL use to engage? The hook goes wide, and TL are being poked out, forced away. T1 onto this Elder Drake. It's dropping quick. The triple ADC comp is just doing so much work. Watch for the Ren smite combo from T1. It comes through, and Elder procs. Lee Sin is down. The smites, the lasers of the buff is deleting Team Liquid. It was dominant from TL early, but they're losing out with the soul take. To be honest, you get that buff, but you can't get Elder. T1 punish with the ace. A full team wipe. And this should be game number 2 in the bag for the LCK second seed. Maybe not. Maybe not yet. They need to get the base. I've called it early, but to be honest, it's done. Elder spells doom and gloom if you can't secure it. It's a poor flank. I'm going to say it. Good work by Faker, checking for the flank potential from Umpty. And because he gets caught, it forces a play too early. And T1 suffer a second game loss here in this series. And to be honest, we're not covering game 3 on a video. We're going into game 3 on GOL because, oh boy, it's a interesting one that I kind of want to break down on here. More than anything because, let's be honest, game 2 was very long. Game 3, slightly shorter. The draft, though, is where we start to see some interesting things. As Rek'Sai comes through for Umpty. T1 get fairly eerily similar comp to game 2, but they've got a tankier front line with the Rel, with the Sedge. But to be honest, the issue is APA and Yeon got going in this one. And Gumayusi got going. but the rest of his team got punished. And that is where T1 lose out, because of the fact that they got going. Simple as that. They showed up in the series. APA had a Chovy game. And to be honest, I mean, Chovy games are fun if you're able to convert it to a win. And kill score just shows you that it's probably one of them more explosive games rather than close ones. I wish I could see gold throughout the game, the gold graphs, like the LEC gives me. Hashtag bring them back. Like, do I have an LEC? Does it have them on here? We'll look at G2 Fnatic. Game 4. Give me this. I love these. I like looking at this. Tells me what's going on. Even the summary tells me everything. The fact we haven't got this for MSI makes it really hard to do these breakdowns, by the way, on GOL. Anyway. Game 4. Game 4. Game 4. I'm just going to lower that in there for me. Because I can hear it quite loud, by the way. I don't like it being loud for me. So. Oh. If you couldn't tell, I'm not very comfortable. Oh. My legs are sore. I really could do with like a leg rest under here. But I don't have one. I've been using the wall that's right behind my computer to rest and relax. So I'm going to sit how I sit at work and just sit cross-legged and strewn all over the place. As you do. Game number 4 then. How does this one pan out for these two teams? Can we get into game number 4? It looks like it. So, draft time, baby. Trist, Lucian, removed by T1, who enter blue side once more. Talia, Azir. Ari, Ori. 1 and 2 is probably going to be banned here. But the other has to go through. I think you ban Ori. Away from T1. It's Ashe. They keep banning the Ashe. Ori's immediate first pick. It just is when you come to T1. TL response is... I mean, you go bot lane here. Senna's up. Because I think if you go Kalista, they go Senna. Senna TK. Senna on. Senna TK, Senna on. The combo's there for Team 1. That's a Ziggs. For APA is presumably. So give the man a pushing champ into this Ori. I like it. It kind of does what I think Caps' Tristana aims to do in being a siege threat rather than a fight threat. So there's that. There's the Senna. Do T1 lock in the support? support here. Yeah, they go for the Ornn again. So the response probably is... It won't be a Rallying Assault. I think you take the Poppy or ban it here. Because it's looking very much like Game 1. And we all know how Game 1 went. Poppy dominated early. Either you take it here if you're Team Liquid, or ban it out. Don't pick Lee Sin. Because I don't think played well. Rel's okay. You get an engage heavy support to play alongside your Kalista, and technically can be flexed. It's not very much one now anymore, but yeah. Poppy needs to be banned. It's powerful enough already that we've seen. You've got this Kalista, you've got this Rel. It denies so much of what you want to do. TF is nice, but Poppy needs to go. T1, what can they do? Maybe TL pick up Poppy here for impact in top lane, actually. Or jungle. It doesn't have to go into jungle. Top probably is okay into an Ornn if it's on top. I honestly like it. Zin's banned here by T1, which is smart. Sedge. Does Sedge get removed? Lee. As much as I hate it, it's still an option. Jarvan. Camille's... So they think the Camille's the bigger threat. I mean, it is a threat, but... I genuinely think that you need to do something about the Poppy. I am worrying quite heavily about Poppy. Vi comes through as a ban. TL. If you lock that in, you're signing up for a death sentence. The death sentence is being signed up. Death sentence. That's the way I word it. To be honest, the Vayne could come through for tier on, yeah. It works. And there's the dreaded hover. You knew it's coming. I knew the hover was coming. The lock-in has to come. I'm thinking of how TL respond. Sedge, get a frontline protector. But you then... Yeah. You've played yourself here, Team Liquid. Poppy's just too strong. In terms of beating Kalista. I don't like the draft by the LCS squad. Anyway. Lilia. Doesn't her W get cancelled by Poppy? I'm just saying. You pick... I get why you go Poppy here. Not Poppy. Lilia here. It's easier for me to explain. Essentially, you sleep the Poppy as she's trying to set up for this smite take. Because, realistically speaking, you can hold the ulti, the little lullaby, for a while. So once the sleep comes through, that's when you take the Baron control or objective control and smite it away. It's a... Personally, very awkward interaction. I wouldn't say it's the best interaction with dealing with Poppy, but it's a way. It's what Team Liquid have decided to go for to deal with it. But yeah, I'm ready for another early game Poppy roasting and destruction. As I want to see if she goes for another invade, because this time she's on red side, so the options are a little more reduced. I'm just checking to see if a split map comes through. However, actually she's on blue side again. Never mind. Yeah, Team Liquid are screwed. Even though I know the result of this series, Team Liquid just are being screwed by draft. Junglers are already fighting. Carrier's already being ran down. He won't die, as he's running someone's spellbook. Okay. Pretty nice. A spicy Ornn build. I love Ornns that goes some spellbook. To be honest, this gives me Hylissang vibes. Like, I used to play Ornn support and Shen support, where you go unsealed spellbook, and it just means that you can be a menace around objectives. Because to be honest, you could take jungle item as well. Massive sweep by T1 getting the extra XP for that ward. And yeah, same as game 1, splitting the map. Carrier gets the farm. Guma just needs to hover around the jungle. And this is the issue with giving over Senna. She doesn't need to be in lane early. And the fact is, all jungle camps in the early stage, or specifically blue buff, and I think Gromp does as well, gives over to the Senna as free stack. So Guma could sit in the camp and get a free, basically a free soul. Now, Impact realizes he was in danger, as the path, it's the same path that Zeus did in game 1. He went from upside top all the way down through mid, and then challenged for the play down there. So as a whole, it's a similar play to what he did in game 1. Ona's getting aggressive because he knows this Casante's level 1. So you can just bully him. Gets the ghost. And Impact's in this awkward limbo where he's being collapsed on. Has no real tools to do much, and he's going to die if he backs in that brush. He's already collapsed on. Guma gets another stack. And that's all that T1 really care about, is getting Guma stacks. Now APA's the target, because it's a 3-man dive that's possible. Ziggs does have the satchel charge, but again, steadfast presence. Probably needs level 3, not to make the gank unstoppable. But because APA's flashed towards Faker, yeah, kill comes through. T1 get the pick. They're getting turret plating in the bot side. The other side of things is Yeon is getting gold lead on his own. But, hey, the gold's going into the Ornn rather than the Senna, who got involved in First Blood. I can't really say much more than the fact that T1 are utilizing the Poppy in the similar way they did in Game 1. And it's working out very well. Now, caveat of it is, this game there's a slightly bigger lead for Yeon, who does do a lot of damage. Because I'm pretty sure, was he on the Glistering Game 1? He might have been. Yeah, because it was Senna for T1. I like it overall. He's probably in a situation where he's going to have to play a bit more offensive with the Rel. compared to the Nautilus. The Nautilus, we didn't really see too much out from. Like, he couldn't really engage. Whereas here, the Rel has a go button, and only a go button. The Rel has slightly more sustain than what Naut does as well, which is nice, but whether or not we get to see it is a different story. Finally, we're back to standard lanes. Owner just trying to steal camps, which is typical Owner. If you think about Razork in the LEC of how he jungles and sits in the opposition's jungle, Owner does it more and just aggresses onto the enemy instead of backs away. And this is the power of the Poppy. Because Ziggs flashed and low mana, it's very hard for him to escape if T1 made the play. But respecting the fact that Lilia was around is a good option for T1, and it's why they didn't actually force the play. As bot side, Cleanse comes out a little bit too early from Goomer as he gets killed off. It's going to be the grubs secured on the other side of things for T1, but overall that's a well executed play by Core JJ and Yeon. Now Carrier's stuck. He's going to clear the wave. Get that as far away from him as possible. There are TPs available. There is no TP available for T1. TL should really force this, because no one on T1 can respond. Goomer's shown on the map. Yeah, force the play. Either I'm overlooking something or TL just aren't playing this smart. I mean, they're stealing away camps, which is great. Owner's being put behind, but he's coming over quite quickly. And T1 are collapsing. In comes Gumayushi as the Poppy shows up. The little lullaby lands, but it's a good route. The shockwave tags up onto this Rel, who's forced to run away, but it's the Lilia who becomes the target. Next, here comes Carrier standing in front of him as a massive Swole Seed lands. Gets to slow down, forcing Owner's flash, but somehow, in all of that commotion, Gumayushi falls. T1 could lose another. Carrier running under his tower. He sees a big wave that he can clear. Not going to be bullied by the Callista. And, you know, early game's looking a little better now. A little righting of the ship by Team Liquid. Cleanse is too early or late in some regards by Goomer. He should initially cleanse the queue, and then he could have walked away from the crashdown, but it's too late or too early for the crashdown stun to kind of negate it. Anyway, T1 try and contest this Drake. They don't get the steal, but they do get Umpty's life as Gumayushi is going to pick up that one. The souls are being collected as the next one is looking to be got to. The Rel being ran down and killed off by Carrier. T1 a little clapback when Owner shows up. Oh, Carrier misses the head, but it doesn't really matter. Steadfast presence, baby, means Yeon is not running from Gumayushi. T1 punish yet again, and a few more souls being picked up. Top side, all out comes through as this is a very low health bar Vayne. Cassante trying to kill her, but Condemn just pushing him away. And now Vayne's turning it around. The fleet footwork coming in clutch. And she can now just bully him off the wave. No more kill threat with the ulti timing out. And yeah, Zeus can sustain with his passive and runes. Anyway, watch this Drake fight again. Masakol, Forge God, and Gumayushi. It's a 2-man play from T1. Getting it. Then it's Javrel, who remounts or demounts with the crash down. Means she can't really escape. You're so goddamn slow when you are out of your horsey speed. Then Young steps a bit too far forward. And while it looks like he's going to kill off Keria, doesn't come to fruition as Vayne's damage does work. As Zeus gets the kill. The knockback by the Poppy as the Condemn pushes the Ziggs away. But it's into a massive shockwave by Faker. Dawning Shadow kills off Umpty. And that should be Herald for T1 or Grubs. Pretty sure that's Grubs. I can't tell anymore. I think it's Grubs. So, 6 Grubs. First time we're actually looking at in the series for T1. Never mind. The contest is coming through. And it's going to be a dead rel. Base goal's used. Should be able to get away. It looked crazy there from Core JJ, to be honest. But never punished. Thank you, Callista. Now the Void Grubbies are being started by T1. They're going to get 2. So 5 secured. Make it 6. Owner going to be happy. He goes to sleep as Umpty's looking to chase. But it's a good route coming out from the center to stop the Callista's autos landing onto his jungler. Topside back once again. Just constant trading between the 2 members of each team. Coming through is Owner flashing over the wall. Out of nowhere, missing the obviously the hit onto the wall. Shockwave coming out from Faker. Just good night, Eon. Good night, Impact. Good night, Umpty. Also good night to Zeus, but it doesn't really matter. T1 are winning out on this play as Senna's here. Senna's just autoing. So's Owner. Down goes Core JJ. And everyone's just dying on this rift. It's 4 kills, 5 kills in the space of 20 seconds. It's hard to count where everyone died. Because essentially the respawn time isn't that short. Taking stock of how this game is. 5k gold lead in favor of T1. Carries calling the Forge God. He lands a knock-up into another knock-up into a Condemn. Zeus just kills off Eon. No escaping that CC chain. Even if you did have Merc Treads, you'd toast. That's a from 0 to 100 real quick play from T1. And it's the power of this horn. You can just stand in front of you, no cares in the world, because Senna's in the game. T1 are doing a lot here. And TL aren't doing much. They're just standing about, to be honest. Not able to do any real fighting on the map. Faker's on a ward. Could get caught. That brush is death. And he's gonna be locked up. Crash down. The Ziggs damage isn't enough yet. As Faker's shielding himself. Dawning Shadow. And the kill goes through. T1 show up. Bye-bye Core JJ. Faker's gonna get another. Why not? It looked like such a big bait from Team Liquid. A nice juicy wave. And a kill. But no. They get deleted by T1. As Goober's caught out. Eon's chasing and gets the shutdown, but Owner is here. Trading it back. It's a good kill, to be honest, by Eon. But, yeah. In the end, it doesn't really help as a TP is coming through. Faker now to target. APA not going to overinvest. Just TP to catch a wave. He may have got a kill if Faker showed up as Oda's now just hunting. TP coming through now from Impact. T1 quite low health bars here. Not going to be punished for it. And why not? I think that's Carrier. And it is. Call of the Forge God. Here we go. Not going to land the second part of it. But he doesn't need to. His owner is here. TP's in behind. That's Faker. He's hunting. And so is the rest of T1. It looks like they've caught out Core JJ. The shockwave going to land. And hi, Gumayushi. He gets the kill onto Core JJ. That flash over the wall was for no goddamn reason. And T1 are punishing. T1 are hunting. And this game, it's getting out of hand now. The Senna becoming a menace. Zeus is starting to be an absolute pain in the neck. The autos are doing so much work. Umti's not really able to do much and is just being deleted by the double ADC comp. And now Yeon ran down. Not going to fall just yet as... Hi, my name is Rel. I'm not going to be Fate's called to safety. I'm just being ran down by Zeus and Guma's just got one auto. Oh. If Guma landed the auto, he would have got the kill as what is happening topside. All out comes through. Carrier being killed off here and gets shut down. Somehow he had one. Meanwhile, Faker is still here dominating the matchup. Owner's here still dominating this matchup. And this kill should go through. Faker's just waiting for summoners. APA being done. They're delaying his back, innit? They're delaying his spawn a little bit. So he can't really ulti for an objective. I mean, that and Faker was kind of playing around with him. Because, why not? Drake's on the board. I mean, the past 2 games we broke down have been very soul reliant. Right now, the focus hasn't been on the Drakes. It's been on kills. 20-5 T1 lead at 17 minutes. Jeez. There's a rule of life. When there's more kills than minutes in the game, it's a clown fiesta. Call of the Forge Gods are used. It goes between the overheads. And still, somehow Yeon gets caught. Mid lane, Lilting Lullaby lands onto 2 members. Dawning Shadow over the top providing the shielding as that comes through. As Umti taken quite low, it's still Zeus staying alive, just kiting Impact and almost getting the kill with the Silver Bolts. But I think in the end, Vayne's going to be killed off here. Umti going to be pushed back and killed off. It's a 1-for-1 trade in that play somehow. As the shutdown goes through over to APA, who's trying to back, but Impact being ran down. A massive knockback from Poppy, who's just getting the shields. Faker providing the shield. I think she's even got a locket for herself. Looking for more, healing off the Krugs. APA doing damage, but Faker's here now. It's all over now, APA. I'm sorry to say this. Faker is hunting you. The TP's going to come through. Maybe he gets out alive. Faker not going to catch him in time. And in base sits the Ziggs after escaping an arguably tumultuous situation. Where are we going? Mid lane. Okay. This is just called kiting 101 from Zeus. Good Dawning Shadow out from Guma. As the Charger is pretty good as well from Owner to push Umti away from landing the W onto Zeus, which probably would have been the kill. Impact then getting ran down is pretty cool. As, yeah, Zeus just turns correctly. Condemned to stop the Q coming out from the Lilia as back on live. Call of Forge God lands only onto Impact, who's taken quite low already. He's going to probably fall here as the all-out comes through. But yeah, bye-bye Impact. 3 members of Team Liquid on the retreat. Zeus hunting. He hasn't got Ghost, so he can't continue to chase as hard. Carrier's on the side. He's looking. He sees a potential play. But not going to go in. Because the rest of his team's backed up. Meanwhile, APA, he just stood in the bot lane. as you do, while the rest of his team's running for their lives in the bot lane. T1 pushing for the base. As Faker TP's in, Faker's hunting. He sees APA, he knows he hasn't got TP. He knows he's got no way to get out, as the rest of T1 are pushing for the end. They've got the mid lane inhibitor tower. Herald's still alive. It's going to get another crash into this inhibitor, and it falls. The base is in tatters as Rel's forced to engage. CoreJJ goes in, but he doesn't get much. Somehow Zeus falls as Choo Choo Train Poppy goes running away. The Lilting Lullaby comes through as Poppy's isolating herself in the backside, but she's still alive. T1 still fighting well into this. Fate's Call is going to be used to get onto Gumayushi, who flashes to try and get away to safety, but he will not be able to. The kill goes over, and Carrier will fall as well. T1 fighting, but it's not enough to end the game as TL stand their ground. To be honest, I thought the game was over there. 10k gold lead. Rift held in the base, but this engage is pretty good. You lock up Zeus. You've got no carries. Faker TP'd away from this play to get APA, to stop his push. But he could have stayed with his team, because APA gets back to his team to back him up, to allow for a potential chase down. He gets the kill. Crypt Bloom proc as well. Keeps you on top a little bit more. That's overall a well-worked play by Team Liquid by CoreJJ. The engage was perfect. And they're looking for Guma as Owner goes forward. A massive chunk out of CoreJJ's health bar. Keep your eyes on Umpty. He's looking to find a way into the pit as the Rel's already very low, forced to retreat back to base as the Baron started by T1. Lilia hiding, trying to get around, walking into the river. She's in a position to contest. She can smite steal if needed, but she is yeeted out the pit. The Call of the Forge God not even going to be needed to do that play. The Mega Inferno Bomb lands onto Guma, but it can't steal the Baron. T1 secure it, and the Nexus towers of Team Liquid already being harassed. No fight coming out of that play, but Team Liquid losing out heavily as the last inhibitor tower being targeted by Team 1. And you know, it's doom and gloom when you hit 3 inhibitors. You're not going to be farming very well. Nexus towers in the sights of T1 as a massive shockwave from Faker hits 2. The health bars are gone. The base is going. The backside engage is pretty good as APA secures a kill, but Carrier is still alive. He's able to frontline for his team as Oriana Faker doing what he does best, securing the kills, going legendary, and what do you know? Downfalls APA. Downfalls the base of Team Liquid, and goodbye LCS. Take that plane home, because that was a clinic by T1. To be honest with you, I thought this would have been a 3-1. 3-0 to T1. But TL showed up for a game. And they got humbled, I would say. It was good. I think some of the things we did see from Team Liquid was good, but draft sucked. That's my first concern. It's a massive concern, to say the least, because you can't give Poppy. When you have Callista, there's 2 picks you can't give the opposition. Ashe and Poppy. I'm sorry, but it makes it really hard for your carries to play the game. Especially if you go for more mobile carries on your own as well. It's just such a dumb draft decision. The other thing that I liked about Team Liquid was, I guess, priority on objectives was a little better in that second game that we watched. But as a whole, it could have been a lot better. I do think T1 just were better all round. They put on a masterclass and showcased why they're the world champs to the LCS. What we also can tell from this is T1 and Team Liquid and G2 on a similar level in terms of dealing with the LCK's second seed, but G2 kind of on a different level because it took 5 games. That's my take away of EU greater than NA. So yeah, there's that. I'm just gonna have a look, see at if there's a series tomorrow. Of course there is. It's Gen G BLG. I just want to see if there's a game Friday. Okay, so tomorrow we'll be live to do BLG Gen G. Friday we'll be live to do T1 G2 yet again. I think this is the first time we're covering them. I don't know. I need to actually check my YouTube channel to see that. So I'll actually do that now. Did we cover them at all? Live. We did not cover T1 G2. So we're getting to cover it now. Fun. That's cool. So we'll get to that. I'm looking forward to that one, to be honest. Anyway, that's going to be that for me today. Thank you very much for joining me. If you enjoyed it, leave a like down below. Subscribe if you're new around here. Or if you want to, it helps me a lot. And I'll see you guys tomorrow, if my throat can handle another best of 5. Peace out.